Please help me welcome the founder of the Love from Margot Foundation, Mike Murphy.
What a beautiful evening. And please join me as I take a little walk down memory lane. Do you remember when you were 14 and you were going into 8th grade and the future was bright, it was exciting, you were going to be the highest ranking person in the grade school, and high school was right around the corner, and then a driver's license, and life was great. Then imagine a decade or so later, most of us had our first children in our 20s, early 30s. The joy of the birth. For many of us, it's the first time experience unconditional love. Life is good. Then imagine at 49, Miriam's age, transition, not a normal transition because her youngest is 3 and her oldest is 20, but not many people have 10 children. But in my case, at that age, you know, it's transition. The kids are leaving home, thinking about retiring or in a second home and enjoying life. Life is sweet and beautiful. I'm reminded of this because last month I had an application for financial assistance from a 14-year-old. Her name was Teresa. See, Teresa never attended one day of the 8th grade. She was diagnosed with leukemia. And the day I met with her and her mother, the following day her 8th grade class was going to graduate. But she was going to go into the hospital for something I'd never heard of in all my years dealing with cancer, was a 24-hour infusion of chemotherapy for a 14-year-old girl. It was kind of sad because her hair was just starting to grow back, and we know she's going to lose it. But it's so toxic, so poisonous that they'd scheduled a 5-day stay in the hospital so she wouldn't die from the chemotherapy. And then I'm reminded about the birth of a first child because a month prior to that experience, I met with Rachel and her mother, Sharon. See, Rachel's 24 years old. She'd just given birth to her first child, a son. And she described to me how the pregnancy was so terrible. And she had 4 emergency visits to the ER with excruciating pain, but nobody could find out what was wrong with her until after the baby was born. And then they found a melon-sized tumor on her cervix. And today, Rachel, at the age of 24, with a 1-year-old son, is stage 4. The cervical cancer is metastasized in her lungs. She's at her bones. She's so weak that she can't hold and carry her child. So in addition to the financial grant we gave the family, we also provided them with a rocking chair so that she could rock her baby to sleep because she could no longer carry him. And of course, at halftime of life, I'm reminded of Miriam, who passed away less than a week after we visited the home and left these wonderful 10 children. And this experience I will never, ever forget, because when we walked in the home before Christmas, every single one of these children look you in the eye, dressed impeccably, firm handshake, and you could tell how they were raised. And it was such a profound, touching moment that we went the day after Miriam passed back to the home, and we went to her memorial service, and so touched by the love that Johnson had for his wife and the love that Miriam had for these children that she homeschooled up to her death. So I feel so blessed to do what I do. And in addition to those 3 stories, I've met in the last 2 years another 50 women going through just equally dramatic or painful circumstances. And so our role in the past has been to provide a financial grant, a temporary Band-Aid. And in a perfect world, I don't know if Stephanie's here tonight, but one of our clients, hello Stephanie. And I'm also reminded of Malou, two success stories. So the original intention was you're diagnosed with cancer, you lose your job, you come to us, we put a financial assistance, you get well, you go back to work. That's the beautiful world. But the problem is way too many of our clients are dying, passing on, or stage 4, and there's not much help. In addition to the 50 plus women I've met face to face over the last 2 years, we've touched the lives of hundreds more through our partnership with Shanti, which enabled our financial grant, enabled them to hire 2 more patient navigators to help the poorest of the poor through the system and hopefully extend their life or at least bring some comfort to their suffering. We partnered with Highland Hospital, the county hospital in Oakland. They don't have much resources. Our financial grant allowed them to keep on. They were going to lay off their breast cancer patient navigator. And our financial grant allowed them to keep that person on staff. We're partners with Gilda's Club. Gilda Radner, you might know, passed away from cancer. We partner with them, and they bring our clients to us, and we provide financial grants. But it's not enough. So we're going to move in another direction. Before I share that vision with you, I'd like to share 3 concepts with you that I've experienced working with these unbelievably courageous women. And I must tell this story about Miriam because she was a very, very special soul. And she called me and she said, hey, you know, I was referred to you by Shanti and we really could use a little help. And I said, you know, my position is I have to meet with every client before I provide financial assistance. She said, well, I'm in such terrible pain, I don't know if I can come from San Francisco to Oakland. I said, well, I'll go there. And she said, well, let me call you right back. And she called her husband, Johnson, and they came to my office. And I couldn't feel worse, okay? Where Miriam previously had a left breast, she now had a watermelon-sized tumor. Every step she took was excruciating. The ride over the Bay Bridge was excruciating. But her smile, her spirit, her energy, her love reminded me so much of Margot. The same passionate, caring sweetness that compels me to continue this work. The 3 concepts are this. The first one is you and me and all of us here, and these 10 children especially, and there's another special client here, Shanti, and we are so much far greater than we realize. See, the system wants to brainwash us to think that we're insignificant and we can't make a difference. And when you analyze it from an analytical standpoint, it's easy to believe that. We right now, the 100 people here in this area right now, we're sitting on the rock in the middle of nowhere, going around in a circle. And there's 7.3 billion more souls on this rock going nowhere. Makes you feel pretty insignificant. Then let me tell you that there's 80 billion more Earth-like rocks in the galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. 80 billion more Earths. How do you feel now? Smaller? I would imagine so. Now let me share this with you. There's 500 billion more Milky Ways. And as I stand here tonight, the universe is expanding in a 360-degree circle at the speed of light. So we are so insignificant, it's not even funny. But let me tell you what I've learned through all these years doing what I do. That if your true essence, your soul, your heart, and I'm not talking about your thoughts and your brain and all the nonsense that goes on up here. And I'm not talking about the 60 to 80 trillion cells that make up what is called a body. I'm talking about your essence, your heart and your soul. And if your heart and your soul were to dissolve, all of this has to dissolve. The entire universe would collapse upon itself because you can't have one without the other. You are everything that always has been, is, and will be. You are consciousness. Here, the system, the matrix, has brainwashed you to think you're insignificant and you can't make a difference. I suggest to you that you're far greater than that. Marianne Williamson wrote, our greatest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our greatest fear is that we're powerful beyond belief. And every time I meet with one of our clients, I'm reminded of that because they're awake. See, cancer wakes people up. They're awake and they're alive. The second concept I'd like to share with you tonight is that it's the environment. See, all illness comes from the environment, but they brainwash us to think it's genetics. Oh my God, my grandfather died of this, my father died of this, I'm going to die of this. No, that's BS. The truth is it's the environment. There's 4 environments that we have the ability to control to a very large degree, but not 100%. And the first environment is our physical environment. Like I said, we're made up of 60 to 80 trillion individual, conscious, living cells working together to keep us going in this body, which houses our heart and our soul. We can control that, But the food is contaminated, the air is contaminated, the water is contaminated. So we have to work harder to control that. The other environment is our thoughts. The ones that aren't any good, toss them out. The other environment is our emotions, our feeling, our heart. See, the bad thoughts lead to negative feelings. Negative feelings lead to negative actions. Negative actions lead to not a very pretty destiny. Great thoughts lead to great feelings, which lead to great actions, which can transform the consciousness on this planet today. And the fourth environment we can control is the spiritual. And that's what I want to talk about next. You see, there's a physical world which is controlled by Newtonian physics, which quantum physics has now said, hey, that's over and done with. But modern medicine is based on Newtonian physics, which is obsolete. There's quantum physics. So there's a seen world and there's an unseen world. In the seen world, I can pull something out of my pocket, like this iPhone, and I can drop it all night long, and it's going to fall to the ground. That's called the law of gravity. It's proven, it's true. And unless you're a yogi in India that can levitate, you're not going to defy gravity. But there's also an unseen world. It's easier to prove that now. Maybe a little harder in the past, but you know, I was on a Southwest flight going LAX to Oakland the other day. I pulled out my cell phone, I hooked up the Wi-Fi, and within 1 minute I downloaded the entire Bible into this phone. Now, where did those pages come from? They have to go from an unseen world. If you question there's an unseen world, on your way home tonight, call somebody in Russia or China, Europe. Tell me how it got there. Tell me how your voice got there. There's an unseen world, I promise you. That's the spirit world. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. The greatest secret was given to me at a conference in San Francisco in 1981. The speaker was a man by the name of Zig Ziglar. Some of you may have heard of him. One of the finest motivational speakers of all time. And he said something that day that I never forgot, and I lived my life by ever since. And all he said was this: you can have everything you want in life if you will just help enough other people get what they want. You can have everything you want in life if you just help enough other people get what they want. So my entire life has been based on giving more than I receive. And let me tell you something. You cannot outgive God. You cannot outgive the universe. The more I give, the more I empty myself to receive more. And listen, I have no education. No one gave me any money. I created a lot of material success based on that simple concept. But what I've realized through the loss of my wife and this work that I now do, that in reality, the things I was chasing are very insignificant. What I've learned is that at the end of the day, it's all about love and service with compassion. So my new vision for this Love for Margot Foundation is I'm tired of our clients passing away. We lost a girl at 33. Margot was 38. Amanda's family, who inspired this foundation and this work, was 39, and she left 3 beautiful girls and a granddaughter behind. See, I want to open this wellness center so that I can get the best nutrition, the best water, the best spiritual advice, the best education, the best emotional support, and start beating this disease. It doesn't have to be this way. See, what happens in the Western medicine, which I'm not saying anything negative about, but when you do chemotherapy, it kills cancer cells, but it also kills healthy cells. The healthy cells are the ones that kill, naturally, the cancer cells. So I think we can have the best of both worlds. And so that's my passion right now, is to build this wellness center, which someone graciously donated this building to us. It's worth $2 million over the next 17 years for free. All we have to do is do tenant improvements. And that's where we're going. So that's our vision now. Financial grants to me, and we've given a ton of them. We've given financial grants to individuals up to $30,000, and the minimum is $2,000. We had one young woman, 33, living alone, San Francisco, stage 4 breast cancer, had one request: Mike, Will you make sure that I don't die alone in a hospital? So we paid for round-the-clock nursing care for 30 days so she could die at home. I'm reminded tonight of a story of this kid that wanted to really get good at baseball. Every day saying, Dad, 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 will you work with me on my pitching tonight? Dad's busy, tired. He says, son, I promise you Sunday after church, we're going to work on your pitching, I promise. Okay, Dad. Okay, Dad. Sunday after church, they get home. Dad, Dad, can we go work on my pitching today? Oh, yes, son, I know, I promise you, but the Giants are playing the Dodgers, and if they win, they're going to clinch the pennant. So the father has a dilemma, and he glances over on the coffee table, and he sees a picture of the earth, of the world. He comes up with a great idea to buy an hour till the game's over, because it's in the 7th inning. He says, son, I'm going to give you a little game to play, a little puzzle. When you figure it out, come back, we'll go out in the backyard and we'll play. Rips off the back of the magazine with the picture of the globe, Earth, the world, rips it up into 100 different little pieces, puts it on the coffee table. He says, son, as soon as you put this puzzle together and you put the world back together, we're going to go out immediately and we're going to play catch. The kid, in 5 minutes, is yanking at his father's shirt sleeve. Dad, Dad, I did it. It's done, put together. The father is flabbergasted. How the heck did you put that together so quick? He says, Dad, on the other side of the picture of the earth, there was a picture of a man. And when I put the man together, the whole world came together. So that's my vision. See, I don't want to put Band-Aids on mortal wounds anymore. I don't want to lose any more Miriams. I want to give it everything I have. So I want to give resources, powerful nutrition, powerful water, powerful education, powerful support. I'm working with a doctor right now in London, England, shrinks tumors with pure nutrition. I know it exists, but we've got to catch it early, and we've got to do it quickly, and that takes resources. So in closing tonight, if this auction, silent auction is still open, and you have a bid, up at $50, $100. In a minute, we're going to have a live auction. We're going to give a live auction on a few items. We ask for your support. Here's one thing I can promise you. You cannot outgive God. You cannot outgive the universe. And for everything you give to others, it comes back not 1 for 1, 10 times, 20 times, 50 times. I've proven this over and over in my life. I have no reason to be successful other than that one concept. And I'm not asking for myself. Because one of the bad things about being what they say, quote unquote, self-made person, is you don't ask for help. I can count on one hand how many times I've asked anybody for anything as an adult. I'm asking you for Rachel, the 24-year-old with a 1-year-old who's stage 4 dying of cancer. I'm asking you for Stephanie and her mother, Teresa, who's stage 4 fighting leukemia. I can't ask for Miriam anymore, she's gone. I can't ask for Amanda anymore, she's gone. I can't ask for Margot anymore, she's gone. But I can ask for these other folks. In fact, I will beg and I will plead. Because let me tell you something. This is all temporary. At the end of the day, we're all going to take that last breath. And if you can grasp what I'm talking about tonight, you're going to have so much love, so much peace, so much joy, that last breath is a piece of cake. See, this is full of fear. This is full of love. So I invite you tonight to get out of here and go to the heart and the soul and know love and joy and peace, as Christ said, passes all understanding. Thank you. I appreciate your support.